Deep Shot Podcast Season 4, Episode 44, Cam Scatterbo.
Ooh, Cam Scatterbo. I was thinking about Kyle Juszczyk, 44. We could
Nobody
also
wants
give a
to give
shout out.
Vic
Hey,
Beasley?
Karen. Not Vic Beasley. No, not
Vic
one to shout him
Beasley.
out.
That was, dude, I totally forgot about that guy. That's a good one. We're going to have to go with him. Welcome to another episode of the Deep Shot Podcast. We are a day late. Usually we do these on Sunday, but we gave Caleb his opportunity to watch his Patriots play in a wild card game last night. So being nice, going to the next day. Still got wild card games we're not even going to be able to talk about because there's one on Monday night. They extend this as long as they can, but we are going to talk about what we've seen so far in the wild card. We're going to go back to Thursday and Friday, talk about the college football playoff semifinals. We've got our players of the week, our deep thoughts, and much more. Really excited to get into it. Before we do, just want to make sure I remind you guys, follow on TikTok, follow on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube. Just past 2,400 followers on Instagram. If you've been listening to every episode, you can hear the number going up and up every time I say we just passed another one. Shout out to Jake. Guy was on his P's and Q's yesterday doing content out there at Everbank Stadium. A pregame. He gave me a halftime. I took that one off. It seemed a little too late for it after he got posted. But the video of Tenant, doing absolute numbers and a great post. So good job to you yesterday, Jake. Great job on the content.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Caleb couldn't get a response out of Caleb yesterday, so didn't think I was doing any content.
And this
Caleb
is
was
totally
just-
true. Totally true. And I was nervous as shit all day yesterday. Like, I woke up yesterday morning. I hadn't had this feeling a long time. Like, well, I say that Florida did play for a natty a couple months ago, but like that since then, I've not just had the jitters all day long going in anything. And you would think I'd act like I've been there before because I had, but no, I was very antisocial to the fellas this weekend, unfortunately.
Caleb was radio silent for about 72 hours.
Yeah.
There was one point I think Garrison jokingly said in the group text, "Caleb, are you alive?" And then fast forward 12 hours, still not a response. So then it started creeping my head. It's like, man, is Caleb all right?
Yeah.
So
All I
was
was
not-
thinking about was something went wrong with Caleb.
I was not in Venezuela. I was not on that boat that they captured near Ireland. I was not, nothing nefarious. We were at home. I was actually at Dave & Buster's for a large chunk of the time that I was not speaking to people for the first time. It was my first experience ever being in D&B. So, there was a couple things ordered off a menu here and there. When I first walked in, I hadn't ate all day. You know how that goes. So, the ball got rolling downhill pretty quickly in that building that night.
All right. Well,
Hey,
hopefully
it's a pretty nice establishment.
DMBs. And also, before we get into it, just want to remind you guys about the Deep Shot Award Show, February 2nd. Remember, it's going to be the first time we've ever done this. Really excited. Going to have some people involved in it. Got some really good awards. Maybe one of you guys is going to win an award that's listening. Really excited. Going to be a really fun episode. So make sure you guys are tuned in February 2nd. We're going to record it on February 1st, so it might come out February 1st night, February 2nd morning. But that's we'll go ahead and circle February 2nd for the official date that you'll definitely hear it. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's back up all the way to Thursday. All right, we're going to talk about the college football playoff semifinals, and we're going to start in Arizona. Miami beats Ole Miss 31-27. A back and forth affair in a game where if you just looked at the box score of this game, if you were just a box score watcher, that's all you did, you would go, how did Miami not win this game by 2 to 3 scores? Miami had 41 minutes and 22 seconds time of possession to Ole Miss's 18 minutes and 38 seconds. Miami was 11 for 19 on third down. Ole Miss was 2 of 10. Miami had 191 rushing yards to Ole Miss's 121 rushing yards, and Ole Miss had a 73-yard rush in there. So really, take away the one big play, and they ran for less than 50 yards, which you can't do that. You have to count the play that happened. But I'm just telling you, how did Ole Miss have a chance at the end of this game? The explosive plays is one of them. All right, special teams, their kicker. I know he missed one, but that miss was coming. You knew he was making too many good kicks. He was doing way too well. You knew he was going to miss one. But other than that, he made 3 out of 4, and they were really crucial, and they kept him in the game. They won the turnover battle, and Trinidad made a lot of really good plays in this game, and he kept them in them. And they came out and said that he's not going to get that 6th year, so he's got to go to the draft pretty much. I think a team should take a chance on him. I really liked what I saw out of Trinidad coming in, and that story is awesome. But Carson Beck made some plays in this game too, and we talked about that last week, what needed to happen. He was going to have to show up against this Ole Miss defense. And I'm not going to say he stole the show, but they had that long 50-yard pass play. He connected with Tony a lot. There was the other receiver, not CJ Daniels. I'm blanking on his name.
Marion.
Marion that made a lot of good plays. He had like 7 catches for over 100 yards. And the Miami defense played really well. They had Trinidad lost in the first half. I mean, they were coming off him with a lot of pressures. They got him sacked 4 times, made sure they didn't get behind a lot. Like when Ole Miss did score that 70-yard play, Miami was able to bounce back, and the defense was able to make a lot of good plays, force a lot of those field goals, and just an awesome game. You can't say not. Congrats to both teams for making it this far. Game was awesome, but we did pick Miami to win, and they did.
Yeah, we all did. And like you said, I feel like Miami, it's not about how many you win by. It's just about winning the game, especially when it comes to playoff games. Just win in advance, win in advance. Well, they should have won this game by, I'd say, 10 plus at least. I mean, that's at least how it felt on the field. Just like going off of strictly vibes, it was clear the entire game that Miami was the better team. Their defensive line was just ridiculous. Like you said, Carson Beck was able to make some plays. I mean, Mark Fletcher, who I said are 2 most important players in this game, most important player for Ole Miss is Kewan Lacey. He went for 103, and then Mark Fletcher on the other side, 22 carries for $133. I mean, both teams were really able to run it really well. But at the end of the day, Miami ended the day with 191 yards rushing on 51 attempts, which is, I mean, that's running the rock. That's running the rock. That's dedication to the craft. Then when it all came down to it, I mean, listen, I try to take my Georgia hat off here and not be a Carson Beck hater, because I do hate how, like, listening to Kirk Herbstreit calling this game, talk about all the adversity that Carson Beck's gone through. He's going to the national championship. Like, dude, this guy is like went 37-3 at Georgia. Like, he won 2 national championships at Georgia.
Yeah, and he told us he was going to the draft, and then decided to not go to the draft. And then people forget that he did have a girlfriend a year ago this time that he basically went to Miami for. That's the whole reason he's at Miami. No one kicked him out of the door. But anyway.
So let me hit y'all with this. So a couple years ago in the women's NCAA basketball national championship, Caitlin Clark absolutely torched Haley Van Lith, just embarrassed her at TCU. So Haley Van Lith at LSU, yes. So Haley Van Lith transfers to TCU, and that's going to cut into Hannah Cavender's playing time. So Hannah Cavender's like, oh, I can't stay at TCU. I need to transfer to Miami. She transfers to Miami, and now Carson Beck is the starting quarterback for the Miami Hurricanes, going to their first national championship game in 20 years. I mean, talk about a butterfly effect. We really just have to, hey, hats off to Caitlin. Hats off to Caitlin. that is motion. That is absolute motion.
That's awesome. I think I saw like a part of that on Twitter, but I didn't read into it. It all starts with Caitlin Clark.
It all does.
From. Kayla, what you think about the game?
Just honestly, I'm with you guys. Like, I think Miami, in terms of just their production on the field, dominated the game. And Coach Saban said something to this about Miami to Cristobal, and it went viral because Cristobal was talking about him getting his eyebrows plucked and stuff like that. But Saban was dead honest truth about it. Like, they at halftime were only up by 4 points. It should have probably been a 10 or 12, 15-point game at that point. But, they had some timely penalties that screwed them up. They kind of got like big gains on second down, got called back. They get put in some bad situations, and you look up and, Ole Miss is able to steal 3 points at the end of the half, which ended up making that game a lot closer than what it should have been. Just didn't understand Miami's thinking. And I know, and we've gotten into these games with Shannon Dawson before, like, he gets a little cute sometimes with his play calling. If I was Miami, I would have handed that bitch off every freaking play in the first half. And I don't care if it's to Mark Fletcher or to Tony. I think you can hand either one of them. But I mean, they were doing their the rugby scrum. We'll get tackled, hit it 3, and we'll get it a gain of 8 situation a bunch of times that first half. And to me, I think that would have parlayed to letting their late game situations be a lot easier for them, because they'd have wore the guys out. Because Ole Miss didn't really have much depth up front. I mean, they had those 2 big dogs sitting in the middle of that even front. But other than that, outside of that, like, there was some things to be had in there. So didn't understand that. Obviously, Kewan Lacey for Ole Miss missing snaps. I think that was massive. I mean, we didn't see him from his game-breaking touchdown until the middle of the fourth quarter, I felt like, or like early in the fourth quarter. Even if he got in, like, he wasn't much of a factor at that point anyways. You could tell that the same thing wasn't going on. Would you on the kicker issues? Ole Miss was due to miss one. Miami missed one they probably shouldn't have. In fact, if you go look at the drive chart on the third quarter, it was such an underwhelming quarter of play for Miami. I mean, they came out, they missed a field goal on their first drive out of the halftime. And then Ole Miss got the ball. That's when they missed their field goal. And then following that, Miami goes on like a 7-minute drive, throws a pick on a tip ball in the red zone, and then it turns in Ole Miss making that a 1-point game. So now you're really in a ball game. They were in a dogfight at that point. I think that Cristobal has some of these scenarios that kind of get him in trouble, and he can let a game get away from him. But this game should have been in hand long, long ago. And I love the aspect of football, which is like games can come back to you and go away from you just in a heartbeat. Like all it takes is one play. Very impressed with Ole Miss to get to this point. I thought if they won this game, they would have had enough lightning next round to maybe win the Natty. But I definitely think I feel a little vindicated. I think I was the one that stood up on this podcast the first time around and said Miami's the best team in the damn country. And I got away from that because we saw them lose disappointingly to Louisville, which I called, and then also happened to SMU, and that, of course, back through like 4 picks. So when they don't turn the ball over and they are operating as a normal team, I think they are a national championship worthy team, and that's clearly been the case. And it's amazing that we got to a point where going into Selection Sunday, they wasn't even in the Yoffs, and they're in the Natty now.
Yeah. And that's a credit to the playoff system. That's why we have it. That's why we're at this point. I know it's a lot different now. It used to just be, you had to be undefeated or the top 2 or whatever, but I think this is, why they had it. I wanted to ask you, you kept bringing up Mario Cristobal. I wanted to ask you guys his demeanor, the last couple days, just seeing him, there was the incident after the game where he was screaming can we get all these people off the stage, get our players up here? And then I don't know if you guys saw him after the game with Scott Van Pelt, basically getting an argument with Scott Van Pelt. And then the next day with Saban, which the Saban thing I didn't really have a huge problem with. He's kind of just
he didn't seem thrilled with it.
Yeah,
he's never thrilled about anything.
He seems
that's
like an angry guy. He seems like a very angry
guy. He got a RBF for a man almost, I guess. That's kind of weird to say, but he just is so stoic all the time. I feel like everything he says, you can't tell whether or not he's being sarcastic and a little bit jokey, or if he's dead ass serious, I will kill you right now. But he does have that to him though.
Yeah, but the Saban thing was interesting because Saban was clearly just trying to mess with him. And I will say, I'm going to kind of take Cristobal's side a little bit. If I was a day removed by winning the biggest game in my life, and the amount of criticism that Mario Cristobal has gotten since he's been at Miami has just been negative, 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 negative. And then the day after I win that game, I'm on College Game Day and my old head coach is grilling me about some time of possession and some decisions you're making. I think I would get a little pissed off by that if I'm being honest.
And I think that out of all the things he did, that was the most reasonable. But the day before with Scott Belt, on the stage, he just seems a little hostile. Caleb, I see you over there. You drink you that frosted Dr. Pepper? Is that?
Dude, this frosted Dr. Pepper, dude. Okay, so I got the float the other day, and that thing checks out, by the way. It's good to go. But I got a frosted soda today because I'll tell you, this is probably bad, but I got pasta in the fridge. But I was like, I'm pretty hungry for this podcast. I'll go ahead and get a frosted soda and maybe some fries. And I was like, well, sure, I might as well get a sandwich. Why not? So got a whole meal. Dr. Pepper frosted soda is the way to go.
Let me tell you, at the game we're about to talk about, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. All right, they were giving out, every seat had a free card for a Coke float or Dr. Pepper, whatever.
Wow.
Everyone got a free one. And the kid bus, there was about 5 to 6 seats beside me that were open pretty much the whole game. And I didn't walk into right at kickoff or get to my seat right at kickoff. And the kid beside me, the kid that was, in that area, he had already snatched up them all. So credit to that kid. He's going to have a good week. But I do have one free one coming up, and that is a great one. If you haven't checked out the Chick-fil-A Coke floats, Dr. Pepper, they got a Sprite one in there, a high C. You can do whatever you want.
Dude, they got a frosted Powerade.
Look at that. All right, let's talk about that game though. Indiana 56, Oregon 22. First thing I wrote down is ass whipping. Let me say this. I went to this game. I obviously posted a lot of stuff. The fans it was 95-5 Indiana, if you couldn't tell on TV. And it wasn't it was packed. It was one of the most packed. And I've been to Mercedes-Benz 20 times. And it was as packed as it's ever been. And it was so funny because I was like, dude, I don't know anybody here. Usually I will see somebody I know. And these are just all random Indiana fans. The very first play, it seemed like it was over, right? Pick 6, Dante Moore throws it. I'll get into Dante Moore here in a second, but Oregon did respond very well, but the wheels kind of just came off, and they couldn't stop Indiana. Indiana scored every time they touched the ball. Mendoza was very efficient. Play calling was awesome. Did you guys know that Indiana's offensive coordinator is named Mike Shanahan? No relation to any of the other Shanahans, but his name
It's
is
just
Mike
the name.
Shanahan. And he's been with Signetti since like James Madison, I think maybe a little before that too. They were just awesome. They were 11 for 14 on third down. The defense swarmed Dante Moore all game long, caused 3 turnovers. It was like we're not the last game. You can go, well, look, this is, these are the spots, blah, blah, blah. Like this, you watch this game. It was 35-7 at halftime. Like it was over. I want to say this though. I know Dante Moore is going to get a lot of stuff. Okay. A lot of shit about how he played. I don't think he played that. Look, the 3 turnovers, you can't take them away. You can't take them away. But if you took those away, and I think they were kind of like the interception to start the game, like the corner made a great play. I still don't think it was like an awful throw. Like, he just jumped in front of the receiver. He kind of had the receiver out front a little bit. He maybe just needed to air it a little bit to the left a little bit more. But and then the fumbles, like, the second one was like, I mean, come on, the running back's just sitting there, and then the third one, he gets hit. At the end of the day, I just think no quarterback, if you've looked at the season, no quarterback has fared well against Indiana. Like, they have just been dominating quarterbacks all season long. Julian Sand didn't play well. Ty Simpson obviously didn't play well. So I'm gonna give Dante Moore, like a lot of people are giving him shit, I'm just gonna give him a pat on the back, say it's okay. And really, it's at the point, like, is Indiana just that much better than everybody else, or were Oregon and Bama frauds? Like, what do you guys think?
I mean, is Indiana cheating? I mean,
Yeah, that's being talked about.
It's getting to that point where you're watching it and it's like, how are they this much better? And for the record, I don't think Indiana's cheating, and if it winds up they are, I don't have any intel or whatever. But I saw a clip of one of Indiana's defensive ends who was at James Madison, with Kirk Signetti. This guy's a nothing star. This guy was a good high school football player that got a chance at James Madison. And now all of a sudden he's in the college football playoff semifinals, putting like a Lawrence Taylor spin move on a future first round pick at left tackle. It does not compute in my head how Kirk Signetti is getting this much out of these guys. It makes no sense. And when you talk about Fernando Mendoza, the dude doesn't miss. The dude doesn't miss. And he doesn't have to do that much. Like, I will say, you talk about balance. They had 177 passing yards and 185 rushing yards. They could do whatever they wanted the entire game. Fernando Mendoza has like double the amount of touchdowns as he has incompletions against Oregon and against Alabama. I mean, the dude is on an absolute another level right now. It's hard to imagine that this team does not go 16-0 and win the national championship. It's hard to imagine at this point. And we'll talk about the national championship another day. I mean, I'm with you a little bit on the Dante Moore thing. Like, the 2 fumbles were a little unfortunate. I mean, one was just a strip sack. The one with the running back was, that's like, come on, like get out of the way.
He did hold the ball a little too long in situations, but that just goes back to, like, it just seems like no quarterback is doing well against it. Like, Indiana is just too good.
Yeah, I am going to disagree with you on the interception. I mean, that, the one rule when you're running an out route, the one place you cannot miss on an out route is behind the guy. You cannot throw it inside. You cannot throw it behind him. And that's what he did. And the guy named Pond, shits the Ducks on the first play of the game, which I thought was a little ironic. And I love that. But yeah, I mean, regardless. So let's take away Dante Moore's three turnovers. Let's say they score a touchdown on all 3 of those drives. Obviously, we'll take away a touchdown from Indiana. Indiana still wins. They still win. They win by a touchdown.
I mean, it's hard to compete when you have to score, 60 points to win the game?
Yes. Yes, it's tough.
And they did capitalize on every single turnover in this game as well, with 7 points.
Did they even punt?
I'm about to check because I don't.
Yes, they did punt once in the second quarter. I do remember. Like, this was like still when the game was still a game though. Like, I think it was like 20-7.
Yeah. Okay. They punted. They punted 20-7. Their next punt, they were up 42-15 at the end of the third quarter.
That's insane, dude. I really feel some type of way about the cheating allegations. I had it down as my deep thought. I think I'm going to pick a different deep thought and go ahead and send this. I just think, like, okay, if they were cheating, that corner, if you go look at what covers they're playing cover 4, 2 read, whatever you call it, palms, a bunch of people call it a bunch of different shit. What he's doing is read through number 2. If he sees number 2 go vertical, he takes his eyes to 1. He's going to try and jump anything that goes out or eject if it goes vertical. Okay, well, the ball went out. I think they're just very well trained. Like, I think they're coached up really well. And he jumped it from depth, and it was a bad throw. So, like, if Dante Moore throws that ball as an out route, we're not talking about Indiana cheating. I think it's just complete bullshit that people even bring that up. And look, pay attention to college football, folks, and think back to, like, what happened beforehand, right? 10 years ago, Everybody, it didn't matter if you're a 5-star or a 3-star or a 2-star, you had the same amount of hunger and fire in your belly. If there's just a certain amount of level that it took for you to be great. These guys got the same fire, if not way more than the Cam Colemans and the Sam Leavitts of the world that are in the damn portal that everybody's chasing down to make their team with. I think that Indiana players are dedicated to the process because they know no different. I mean, they just came from freaking James Madison and Elon IUP. This is where they haven't been to big time football. They haven't seen the Texas Tech facilities. They hadn't had access to the nutrition that, Oklahoma State or Alabama or any of these major programs. I'm saying Oklahoma State, they're, in my mind, before this year, they're a better program for their entire eternity than Indiana. Okay.
Everyone's a better program, not just Oklahoma State. Everyone is.
Everybody.
Michigan State is. I mean, Rutgers.
I think when you get people in the building that want to accomplish something and have nothing else to lose in order to accomplish that, like Cam Coleman, take him for example. He could have stayed at Auburn all 4 years, but that his goal is not to be great. He already thinks he is because he's getting paid $3.5 million a year. So what other form of verification does he need than that? He can see the zeros in his bank account, the car he drives, the girl he got. What else would you need? These guys in Indiana, they just came from James Madison. That stadium holds like 10,000 people. And when they first got to Indiana, their spring game probably had like 20,000 people at the game. So they have no expectations of just like entitlement, like I deserve this. No, they've got to go damn earn it. And I think this is the greatest coaching job in the history of college football at this point. Because just go and consider everything that's going on, right? You got NIL, the introduction of it, and the accomplishment of moving from that to revenue share. Indiana's done it seamlessly somehow. And you got, they're the biggest losing program in history. They have no program tradition. If I was to go play with Indiana on college football 26 right now, if a player had his deal breaker as program tradition, guess where he's going? Not Indiana. They're F- in that department. Okay. So like they're getting the players that they've got ready to play, and they're outplaying the 4 and 5 stars. They're technically sound in every department that you look. I like exactly what you said on offense. They do what they want. Like if they want to throw a back shoulder, they're going to throw a back shoulder.
Yes.
If they want to hand the ball off, they're going to hand the ball off, and it's going to be executed. Like there's no question about it. They may not have the dudes, but they have the dudes that want it just as bad, if not more, than everybody in the country. And I think that's the secret to success.
And what's scary is, you're right, Indiana doesn't have any 4 stars, any 5 stars in this roster, and they're beating the crap out of all the 5 stars. Their transfer portal class is like stacked. It's stacked.
Insane.
So if they're good with these guys, if they can keep that same, the same attitude and the same work ethic that they have with this bunch, it's over. I mean, it's over.
And another thing is like what I mentioned with the offensive coordinator, and like how are these guys aren't getting head coach looks and other things like that?
They don't want it.
It's crazy. Like we'll see how long they can keep that continuity going. But again, props to Indiana, ass whooping. Quick thoughts. We'll obviously preview it all later. Quick thoughts. National championship game. Indiana's like an 8-point favorite over Miami in their home stadium.
How can you not take Indiana?
Yeah.
How can you not? I mean,
Really?
I think the one thing that is interesting that you have to think about is Miami's defensive line is just, that's been the X factor in like every single game that Miami's played and won this year. So if they're able to get after Mendoza, then maybe, but I don't know. I mean, Indiana has beaten Alabama and Oregon by combined like 80 points over the last 2 weeks. Like I would take them to beat the Browns right now.
No, come on.
Not actually. It's a joke, but I'm not going to pick.
Could the Jets get an interception against Indiana?
No, that's the fly zone. I'm not so sure who I'm going to be betting on just yet or picking line or straight up. And that should scare some Indiana fans. I just think that anytime Indiana struggled this year, it's been against a really, really good run defense.
Yeah, and I saw the stat. I saw the stat that said Indiana, like in all the close games they had this year, like Ohio State, Penn State, they were held to under 3.5 yards a carry. And in any game they like were over 4, like they won by like 25 at least. So, we'll talk more about that. Before we move on to NFL, just want a quick update to transfer portal. Sam Leavitt looks like he's going to LSU. Tennessee apparently still in the mix. Lane Kiffin went to Knoxville. Why Sam Leavitt was at Tennessee? If you guys didn't see that, that's insane. Such a Lane Kiffin move. Cam Coleman committed to Texas, so Caleb was wrong there. It seems like Texas can bring out the pockets, and they stole Hollywood Smothers away from Alabama. if you didn't see that. Chaz Coleman, the defensive end from Penn State, who looked like he was going to Ohio State, he goes to Tennessee. If you didn't know, Jim Knowles is now the defensive coordinator at Tennessee. He's following his DC there. Raiola looks like he's going to Oregon, could be backing up Dante Moore. DJ Lagway going to Baylor, committed right now. These committing, like out of all these things, like the commits, I mean, these transfer portal commits seem like they mean less than a high school commit.
I mean, it ain't over till the fat lady
they
sings
kinda
in
do,
about
yeah.
4 days. I mean, you're going to get last-second commitments and flips out of this, I think, too, leading up to that as well.
Crazy that we're doing that still. But those are some of the updates there on the transfer portal. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk about the NFL playoffs. There's been some banger games in these NFL playoffs, so congrats to Roger Goodell for that. We'll start on Saturday in the order these were played. Rams 34, Panthers 31. One seemed like it was going to get out of hand a little bit early. Rams were up 14-0 pretty quick. The Panthers had a turnover on downs, an interception early. ETN muffed a punt, and they gave the Rams a short field that didn't even result in points for the Rams, which kind of seemed like a big moment there. Stafford missed a couple throws early. I remember I sent a text that he missed that big throw to Devontae Adams, and then all of a sudden you look up at halftime, it's 17-14, and the Panthers are still in this game. The third quarter kind of doled out, a couple field goals, but the Panthers made some huge plays in the fourth quarter. Bryce Young looked really good. They had a blocked punt that got him a short field and a touchdown. But at the end of the game, the MVP was just too much. The real nine, was out there. Matthew Stafford led the Rams down the field, got in the end zone. There was too much time. There was like 2.5 minutes left when the Panthers took the lead. It was way too much time for Matthew Stafford. Panthers had a chance at the end. They had a couple drop passes, and that was it. The Rams survived in Charlotte in a game that, I mean, like I said, it seemed like it was going to get out of hand early. The Rams let the Panthers hang around, if you ask me, and the Panthers took advantage in the second half. But the Rams, I mean, I'm just going to say this. It would have been a disappointment if the Panthers won because no one thinks the Panthers are going to do much after this game. Like, maybe they win one game, maybe they'll win another. But I don't think anybody was rooting to see the Panthers keep going in these playoffs. So it's a big deal that the Rams were able to survive this one.
Yeah, so the score, it was 17-7. Rams punting and Trevor Etienne fumbles the ball. That was the moment. That was the moment where the Rams should have been able to just put their foot on the Panthers' throat and just stop them. And it should have been 24-7 going to the break. But like you said, Matthew Stafford missed a couple throws, and then he gives the opportunity for Carolina to get the ball back, drive right down the field, boom, it's 17-14. And then even after that was, I thought it was going to the halftime, and then Matthew Stafford misses Devontae Adams on that throw that you were talking about. So this was a story of missed opportunities for the Rams, but also a story of Carolina taking advantage of almost every single opportunity they were given. And I'll say this, listen, I understand Carolina's not the most talented team and they're not great and all this, but they are a resilient bunch. They are. And Bryce Young, when he plays within the system, Bryce Young can be a good quarterback. And he absolutely can. But the moment was big, on Saturday during this game. Most of the time, he was able to come through. A majority of the time, able to see Chuba Hubbard make some plays. How about Jalen Coker? 9 catches, 134 yards. How about that? And then we're talking about all this. Man, if Jimmy Horn catches that ball on that fourth down, if he catches that ball, I mean, they were dang close to field goal range. And this one might have been going to overtime. And then we all know in the overtime, anything can happen. Anything can happen. But at the end of the day, we have to give our flowers to Matthew Stafford because I don't think he was on his sharpest the vast majority of the day. That interception that he threw was not very good. I feel like the throw was there. Like the window was there, and he just, short arms it. It's going the other way. But when he absolutely had to, he's hitting Colby Parkinson on a beauty of a ball with less than a minute left to call a game and move on. And listen, these Rams are scary. They're a really good team. They can beat anybody. It's hard to put in words, but I feel like this Rams team can beat anybody, but I also kind of feel like they can lose to anybody at the same time. Like we saw it on Monday night, them losing to the Falcons. We almost saw it on Saturday, them losing to the Panthers. We saw them lose to the Panthers in either week 13 or week 14. But when the Rams are at their best and Stafford's dealing and you got Puka and you got Devontae Adams, they got 3 really good tight ends. They got 2 good running backs. We know about their talent they have on defense. This is a Super Bowl caliber team, for the rest of the NFL was probably really pulling for the Panthers to get this upset because the Panthers are not nearly as scary as the Rams. But hey, the Rams move on. They're going to Seattle, and that's going to be an awesome matchup.
It will be. Definitely looking forward to that game a bunch. I just want to give my flowers to the Carolina Panthers. Like Jake said, no matter what this team looked like, first of all, they showed out and they fought. And also to the Carolina fans, they were a lot more people there at that game that I expected to be, showed up on TV. And, seeing pictures from inside the stadium, it looked like it was an incredible atmosphere, which is a shocking thing to say about the Carolina Panthers. But yeah, look, the Rams to me felt like they just kind of play with their food a little bit this game. I think like Jake said, the Panthers capitalized over a lot of things that were mistakes. Obviously, the Rams have had a couple issues, getting completions at timely points when they're used to. I think Puka Nacua dropped like a wide open touchdown at one point. Devontae dropped a couple footballs in the game. I'm not very, very confident. If it's cold in Seattle next week, I'm not very confident in what the Rams are going to be able to do going forward. And that's coming from the guy that picked them at the beginning of the season.
Well, they're going to be playing the Bears.
Okay, I thought so too. Jake said the Seahawks. I thought they were playing the Bears because I've been talking about thinking about the under 30.
They're the 5,
record.
and Bears are 2, and then the Seahawks or the 49ers are the 6.
Okay,
That's
I
right,
thought so.
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
Jake threw me off the scent trail there, but I got a stat for you. Matt Stafford, when it's under 30 outside, is 1-10 all time, and he has a touchdown interception line of 14-11. Boy, don't play outside. They're calling him indoor man. Okay, so that's kind of my confidence point here. And it was a little nippy in Carolina this past weekend. They did score 34 in everybody's defense, but just wasn't as crisp and clean as you would expect them to need to look going to play the Chicago Bears, where they're going to have to play 4 quarters of football, guaranteed.
What you guys
think?
Okay.
It's going to be cold in Chicago too. I mean, it was pouring snow before kickoff the other day.
Saturday night, the biggest comeback in NFL postseason history.
Yeah.
What's second?
There's never been a bigger one than 21-3 in the NFL postseason. Did you guys know that?
I did not. That's awesome.
In wild card history.
I think just all postseason, including the Super Bowl. But
Mm-hmm.
the Bears 31, Packers 27. The Packers were up 21-3 in this game, like I mentioned. The Bears, they on their first drive of the game, they had a productive one. They got 3, and then it went interception, turnover on downs. It looked, everything was going wrong. Seemed like here's the Packers against the Bears. Throughout history, it seems like the Packers usually win these games. The Packers were favored going into this game as a 7 seed. Jordan Love looked awesome. And then the second half, everything just kind of flipped, and especially the Bears defense. The Bears defense stood up. The third quarter, the Packers had 11 plays for 19 yards. That was it, and they gave the Bears a chance. The Bears still offensively were struggling mightily in the third quarter. They got the game to eventually 21-16 in the fourth. The Packers then had their best drive of the second half, went down, scored a touchdown. Matthew Golden gets his first touchdown of the season on a great screen that he makes a bunch of people miss. They missed an extra point, and you can't tell the story of this game without the miscues of the Packers special teams. They missed 2 field goals and they missed an extra point. That's been a problem for them all season long. It has been their kicking woes, and it showed up in the biggest moment again. And so 27-16, Bears are able to go score a touchdown, and then the Packers get down, have to kick another field goal, which they miss, and then the Bears are able to go down and score again. Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams in the fourth quarter scored 25 points. It is in their bag. Their fourth quarter drive chart is insane. What a win for the Chicago Bears. This seems like the most un-Chicago Bears thing to do. And for the way they did that, and the post-game handshake, and the fuck the backers at the end of the game for Ben Johnson, just a total rewrite of who the Bears have been the last 10+ years. I mean, especially to win. I'm sure it feels really good, especially since this is against the Packers. But what a win. But Matt LaFleur is going to apparently stay in Green Bay. But what a win for the for the Chicago Bears on Saturday night.
Yeah, the Matt LaFleur news today was really upsetting because I was pulling very hard for the Chicago Bears on Saturday night because I wanted LaFleur to come to Atlanta. But, that's neither here nor there. The Green Bay Packers, and it's interesting when you look at teams that have the lead, and you can look at it when teams are up 21-3 at halftime. You can also see it when teams are up 10 in the fourth quarter. And you're like, how are these teams able to come back? Well, it's quite simple. They're playing very far off the ball. They're just allowing teams to go down the field, play by play by play. They're just avoiding the deep shot. And then they're playing very conservative on offense. And that's what the Packers did. They just were not pressuring Caleb Williams. They were allowing him to sit and just dink and dunk and dink and dunk and dink and dunk. And then on offense, their play call in the second half was just dull. It was just boring. And then say what you will, it's 21-6 with 25 minutes of football left. I understand that you can go off the vibes and it's like, man, the Packers are killing this game. But at the end of the day, that's a 15-point game. That's 2 scores. That score stop score, and it's a tie ball game. Just like that. Score stop score. And that's what happened. And that's what the Bears were able to do. I think Jordan Love did not play his best game in the second half. I mean, the first half, the Packers could not do anything wrong. They couldn't do anything wrong. They have that goal to go situation where the first 3 plays, it kind of seemed like they were just like, oh, we're just going to, try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, not trying serious. It's 4th and goal. And it's all right, let's lock in. Then bing, bang, boom, there's a wide open guy in the end zone. It's a touchdown. I can't say enough on Caleb Williams. I'm just proud of this guy. I mean, yeah, he's a little cringy. His little post game, little ball to Ben Johnson did kind of make me cringe.
That was not a good look.
It made me cringe. But I can't say enough about the guy as a player. I'll say this: the biggest play of the game, 4th and 5, I think, had to go for it. The Bears get called for a false start as Drew Dahlman is snapping the ball over Caleb Williams' head. Season over, game over, comeback failed. The Packers move on, but they are saved. Absolutely saved by a false start. And then Caleb Williams gets another opportunity and makes, in my opinion, I don't think it's as great as this, but you remember Manning to Manningham? When he had to make the play and it's just
the Super Bowl.
I said it doesn't compete. I said that play is still, in my opinion, one of the best Super Bowl plays of all time. Best plays of all time. But it does kind of rival it. Season's on the line at this point. It's 4th and 11. You have to make a play. Play's not working. Neither one of his feet are on the ground as he's throwing this football, and it is delivered perfectly, just right in the breadbasket. And Caleb Williams is making play after play after play. And I'll say another thing about Caleb Williams is, okay, if you just want to look at the box score at the end, okay, 50% completions, 2 touchdowns, 2 turnovers. Both of his interceptions were on 4th downs, so they were kind of throwaways. Which one of the interceptions that Packers caught on, it was 4th and 10. It was a 30-yard punt. What are you doing? Why are you catching that? First off, but Caleb Williams is not scared to take shots. That dude will drop back and gun it at any time. He's not scared. Look at the last time the Bears and the Packers played in overtime and he was throwing a bomb with the game on the line for a touchdown. But that's what I love. You can look at it and you can say, okay, only 50% completion percentage, but the guy threw for 361 yards on 24 completions. That's pretty dang good. And the future is bright. The future is really bright in Chicago. Their rushing game's good. And I'll shout out one more guy, Colston Loveland. My goodness, that guy looks like a wide receiver out there. He had 137 yards receiving. I believe he caught a touchdown as well. I don't have the box score up. But it turned out in the 4th quarter when DJ Moore really wasn't, he had a big drop in this game. Colston Loveland, 8 catches, 137 yards. He was the go-to guy, and I'm just going to say, I'm happy I got him in Dynasty. I am thrilled I have him in Dynasty. I'm pretty sure he set the record for rookie tight end receiving yards in the playoff game.
I'm going to good cop, bad cop this situation right here. This game, to me, I wouldn't have been shocked if LaFleur got fired after this one, after the end of that game, personally. But for the Bears, some hell of a call situational, what they did in terms of Big Johnson, and big play scenarios, always having the right thing dialed up was huge. It's honestly just kind of a shock to the system to see the Bears be able to execute under pressure situations and also do things that are innovative on offense. Cause some of the plays that they're doing, the double reverse stuff that they're and double pass this and that. They get razzle dazzle just about as much as anybody else in the league. Hats off to them. And I firmly believed, and we said on the podcast last week, that I didn't think they could get it done because they haven't gotten it done before. And, I've heard people talk about well, why do you always think that or whatever? You got to follow human nature and the trends of the times, right? Chicago has just not been a place that you've gotten playoff wins. Green Bay has been the only team to win as a 7 seed. So I thought there was a chance there. But for the Green Bay Packers, why in the holy hell do we not run the ball when we have a lead? This is a thing that happens with all the Shanahan, McVay, LaFleur, that whole freaking tree. They lose their marbles at the end of games. They don't know how to win games when they're up big at one point or another. 4 drives. All right, so with 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, it was 21-6, and the Packers just got the ball back because Caleb Williams threw a pick. Okay, from that point on, they had 5 drives, 5 more drives after that on offense. 5 plays, 13 yards, 2 minutes, 36 times possession, punt. Okay. And then the Bears go and get a field goal really quick because they return the punt big. Okay. Next possession, 3 and out, 51 seconds off the clock. It's 21-9 in the fourth quarter. You're throwing the ball 3 times. Okay. Guess what happens? They punt it, touchdown. Okay. Now Green Bay actually does eat up a little bit of time on a touchdown drive. It took 3 minutes off the clock. The next time they got the ball, they missed a field goal at the end of the game. It took a minute off the clock and left Chicago just enough time to go down and score, and then they laid an egg on their last drive. I just don't understand the handling of the game and the awareness of, like, we've got to run seconds off the clock at some point or another. We've got to be effective in the run game. And I know Jordan Love played a hell of a game. Nobody's going to talk about his game because he didn't win, but he played his ass off. Is one of the most ethical hoopers in quarterback in the NFL. However, his coach who calls the plays just does not understand, nor does his teacher, evidence Super Bowl 51, when you're up in the playoffs, you have to be able to run the ball or collapse is imminent. These coaches, Ben Johnson's, the Josh McDaniels, whoever you want to talk about, Cliff Kingsbury got fired. He's prepared for any game scenario. They know how they're going to call a game where they're down like this because people have been able to do it before and they've seen your system against it. You've done it. You've lost games at the end. They feel a lot like the Ravens right now. Like the Ravens lose a lot of games at the end of games because people know how to beat them at the end. It's been put on tape. And there's no adjustment. And they usually shoot themselves in the foot, talking about the McVay-Shanahan tree. I mean, McVay, we just talked about the Panthers game. He almost gamed that one away. I mean, we are probably 2 plays away from sitting here saying a lot of different things about either of these guys. But, it is what it is. I've really thought LaFleur was going to be toast after yesterday just because of the game management, and the game just seemed poor. I know he fell victim to a missed field goal, but it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered for the situation in the game. They wouldn't have had the score. They could have kicked a field goal and tied it up or whatever, or won.
Yeah.
But
Brandon McManus accounted for 7 points that the Packers missed out on. I mean, 2 missed field goals and the missed PAT, and neither one of those field goals were, 60-yard. Let's just see if he's got the boot and see if he can do it. They were all manageable. I mean, especially the point after touchdoome. I mean, you do those in warm-ups. Those are warm-up kicks. I mean, you add 7 points to it, then thank you.
They've got a pretty sick home field advantage, though. Like, honestly, we hadn't seen it in a while, but like this time of year in that place, and they're used to playing in that situation with the wind blowing, 20 or 30 miles left to right, or it's just dead silent at one point. I mean, it's kind of daunting.
Yeah, a big win, a huge win. Again, biggest comeback in the history of the postseason in the NFL. I mean, you never seen anything like it. All right, let's talk about Sunday. Bills 27, Jags 24. Jake was there working hard again. Great content he put out there. Great job. Josh Allen was just too much, and he's going to score when he has to score. And I know I give Trevor Lawrence a lot of shit, but Josh Allen likes to steal some rushing touchdowns as well, and he did it twice in this game. Jake, I mean, just give us a breakdown of the day. I mean,
the day was awesome. I mean, we might have lost the game, but we did not lose the tailgate, baby. I mean, it was like 8:48 when we pulled in, and it was awesome. I mean, I'll just say that we had an awesome time. And listen, I'm gonna take my hat off to Jacksonville Jaguars fans, because of all the teams in the NFL, you cannot find a more tortured franchise than the Jaguars. You can't. I mean, they haven't won anything. Like, at least the Browns got some Super Bowls back in the day, to hang their hat on.
The Falcons?
The Falcons have had good seasons. The Falcons have won a conference title. I mean, you can go down the list. I'll say this: the Jags do have more playoff wins since they became a team than the Dallas Cowboys. Since 1995, when the Jags became a team, they are more successful than the Cowboys. But they're tortured. They are tortured, and I'm just taking my hat off to the fans of Jacksonville Jaguars, because there was a little bit of me was nervous because facing a team like the Bills, like the national brand, like I was a little nervous that a lot of Bills fans are going to be there. Dude, they took up 15% of the stadium. I mean, there was hardly any Bills fans. And I hope it sounded loud on the TV, because it was absolutely rocking. Absolutely rocking. I've been to quite a few games, quite a few Jaguars games. I've been to a couple cocktail parties. It has never gotten, maybe the 27-0 comeback over the Chargers might have rivaled it, but it was absolutely rocking. I mean, my heart does kind of break for it. It really does, because I find it's just so upsetting that the Jags have this awesome season. They win 13 games. They win 8 straight to end the season. Trevor Lawrence is playing on another level. We win the AFC South, and we get the one quarterback in the AFC that has real experience. Outside of Aaron Rodgers, who, like, I think if anyone to say what's a scarier team, the Bills or the Steelers, I feel like it's unanimously the Buffalo Bills. Unanimously. So that's the pull. Like I was telling y'all before the game, I would have rather played the other 5 teams in the AFC. I'd rather have played the Broncos. I would have rather played the Patriots. I would have rather played the Steelers, the Texans, the Chargers. I would have rather played all of them besides opening up with the Bills. Because I'll say this, I think the Bills are going to the Super Bowl. I think they're gonna run the table, and I think they're going to the Super Bowl. I think the winner of this game was going to go to the Super Bowl. Caleb, I know you're going to disagree with me on that. I know you are, but I truly believe that. Now let's talk about the game. The most frustrating part of this game is if you watch my pregame video at 9:15 when I made it, I said the 2 most important things in this game is can we stop their run, which we kind of did. 15 carries for 46 yards for James Cook, 11 carries for 33 yards from Josh Allen. We held the Bills to 3 yards per carry. I'd say that's pretty dang good against the number 1 rushing offense in the entire NFL. That's pretty good. But the second part was Travis Etienne. What's he going to do? And that's what's frustrating. Is Travis Etienne had 10 carries for 67 yards. Byshell Tootin had 4 carries for 51 yards. And there was just so many times where we're watching the Jags just hand the ball off and gash the Bills, 10 yards, 15 yards, 6 yards, 5 yards, 10 yards. And we just got away from it. Just completely got away from it. And that's what's frustrating because I do think we could have stayed and 12 personnel, 21 personnel and just ran the rock the majority of this game, and I think it would have been a different outcome. I really do. A couple people were dunking on Trevor Lawrence today. That is one thing I do hate. I hate that the last play of the game was, number one, a missed pass interference call because the guy was hugging Jacoby Myers. I think it was Tre'Davious White was hugging Jacoby Myers on the play. Like that should have been pass interference. But the fact that the last play of the season was a Trevor Lawrence interception hurts so bad. And people are going to dunk on him. And people are going to say, oh, Trevor in crunch time couldn't come through.
It was a hell of a play.
It was a great play. It was pass interference also. I mean, it was. Trevor Lawrence had 3 possessions in the fourth quarter. He took over all 3 of the possessions. He was down. In the first 2, he was able to lead a what am I trying to say? A change of winner. What's the word I'm looking for?
Lead possession change. Or
He led 2 drives, 2 touchdown drives that both ended with passing touchdowns to take the lead in this game. And that defense, man, just could not stop a nosebleed in the fourth quarter. Couldn't stop Josh Allen. And I think it was kind of BS that the whole quarterback sneak thing is just beyond me because on a completely unrelated level, the Bills were one of the teams that voted to take away the tush push, and then to watch them use it against us sucked.
There were so many fourth and shorts for the Bills where they just did that. It seemed like that's all they did.
When you have a guy like Josh Allen, it's hard to knock it. Why wouldn't you? But the guard picks up Josh Allen and just carries him to the end zone. You can't do that. You can push him. You can't pick him up. That doesn't get called. And then, honestly, it would have been better for the Jags for that just been a touchdown. All right, minute 15 left. You got a timeout. You get the ball back. Let's go. But instead, the referees are like, oh, yeah, well, sorry. Since we called it a touchdown and it wasn't a touchdown, it's a 10-second runoff now. And Jags, you have to use your last timeout. And then it's like, oh, what just happened? What just happened? It was just 4th down. Now it's 1st and goal from the 1. And then they score 1 play later. And then, obviously how it ended. I know I'm going a little long-winded here, so a couple more things, then I'll pass it off. But shout out to Parker Washington. Played an awesome game. I mean, that dude has been electric all season for the Jags. 2 guys that were really disappointing was number 1, Jacoby Myers, 1 catch for 12 yards. And, I think it was pass interference on the last play. It was also a drop. I mean, it hit him in the hands. You're an NFL player that we just paid 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, we gave you $30 million. Catch the freaking ball. Catch the damn football. And it's a first down. We're moving. Because you only got to get 20 yards to get into Parker Little field goal range. Okay, yeah. Let me talk about Walker Little, the left tackle for the Jaguars. I'm glad I made that mistake. That dude is terrible. That dude is horrible. If you also watch that last play on the interception, Walker Little lets Joey Bosa just dog walk him. And if Trevor Lawrence I'm telling you this, man. I know it's revisionist history. If Trevor Lawrence had half a second longer, he hits Parker Washington for a 70-yard walk-off touchdown, but he couldn't do it. And okay, last thing I say, I swear, last thing I'm gonna say. So in the game against the Titans, the Jags are blowing them out, right? Liam Cohen wants to get Trevor to 4,000 yards. He needs like 40 more yards. So he trots out the starting offense. On that possession, Cole Van Lannon, the starting left tackle for the Jaguars, gets hurt and he misses this game. So Walker Little has to play left tackle yesterday, and he got abused. He got called for a couple false starts. He got called for some holdings. I mean, Joey Bosa dominated the entire game. If they would just said, Trevor, sorry, you're going to end the season with 3,975 yards, and we have Cole Van Lannon yesterday, that could also, it could have been a difference maker. It could have been a difference maker. All right, for real, last point. The reason why this hurts so bad is I genuinely think the Jaguars are better than the Bills. I think there was multiple times yesterday where you could just tell that outside of Josh Allen, this team doesn't really have much. Yeah, they're not that great of a team. They just have the best player in football right now. They have the best player in football, and that's the difference maker. And I think if we just ran the ball, we could have won. All right, I'm done.
I really don't
means a lot.
understand. I don't understand why y'all didn't run the ball more personally, but I think it's a little bit bold to say that the winner of this game is going to the Super Bowl now, knowing the Gabe Davis situation. I mean, it's going to be hard for them to run the Super Bowl with no receivers. They're going to be throwing to Shakir, which, I mean, if they want to continue to target him 12, 15 times a game, I think most NFL teams are probably going to tell you have at it, honestly. He's just not like a explosive deep threat, like go get it kind of situation to guard there. You just got to be watchful for Josh Allen. But I watched the majority of this game on the ride home. Very disappointing. I felt for Jake as this happened. Like I saw the pick and I was like, man, that's got to be a bummer to be there. I saw the kid in the pool down there. He started crying.
There were so many kids just crying their eyes out after that game. And I know I just talked for 20 minutes. The walk out of the stadium yesterday was like leaving a funeral. I mean, there was not a word being said. Everyone was just dead quiet. And then there's a couple like asshole Buffalo Bills fans just going, Duval, Duval. And there was, I mean, I'll say this, dude. I saw one Buffalo Bills fan, he might have got put in the hospital. I mean, there were multiple Jags fans just all on that guy's leaving, like bad.
I thought the quarterback sneak was funny to me just because, like, on replay, the lineman picked Josh Allen up and started running with him, which I've never seen anything like that happen on a football field, but that was pretty sick. To your demise, that was a cool play.
You can't do it. You can't do it. That's a penalty.
That is illegal to carry a player. You're not supposed to do that. They're calling it all rugby scrum, this, that, and the other. Yeah, I'm kind of against that too, but whatever. I think that the Bills are going to run into a brick wall when they get to Denver next week, and I'm not going to predict, my picks or anything because I'm not settled or anything. I don't think the Bills are dead by any stretch just because of the quarterback they got. However, I'm with Jake. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars were the better team in this matchup, and the Bills just were able to play football in the situations that we continue to talk about, and they excelled in that spot. And yeah, it was kind of weird to watch this game kind of wind down. It felt like it just kind of like the Jags had it with about 8 minutes left, and then just kind of slipped away in my mind because, even in the last, 2 or 3 minutes, right, there were some fourth down, like fourth and long situations that the Jags put the Bills in and they must convert, and Josh Allen made the plays every time. And then, like, even if you get the stop on the fourth and whatever, and 1 or 2, whatever that he did the QB sneak on like the 12-yard line, like, game's over. It's over. Like, and they did not make the plays there. So don't feel too terrible about it. In my mind, I'd rather see the Buffalo Bills and the Jags as a New England fan. And that's the first time I'll admit this season, but now that his team's out, I can tell him that, yes, I was a little scared of the boys on defense, especially just getting after the passer, and we already have enough trouble blocking people, which we're going to talk about in a second. But great win for the Bills. I think that they've got a chance in Denver, though. It just, if Josh Allen plays like a ceiling game, other than that, it's going to be real tough to see who's catching the ball for them going forward this season. And yeah, I don't know if Jacksonville is going to be this good again. I mean, it's hard to go on these runs, man. Like you can kind of try and like predict and project like, okay, well, we'll probably improve next year or, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of decisions to be made this offseason. I mean, obviously the team is in a good standpoint from the core position. I think they got to address some things on the offensive line and maybe some things in the secondary, maybe get an establishment of like a rotation at backs. that is a little bit more productive, but continue to surround Trevor Lawrence with the right people is going to be what they need to do going forward.
So some thoughts on the Jags next year. I had this discussion with multiple people today at work. If you want to look back at the last time the Jags went to the playoffs, the 2022-2023 season, they got there miraculously. They had an overtime thriller that they beat the Dallas Cowboys. They came back miraculously and beat the Baltimore Ravens. They had the last game of the season against Tennessee Titans. They were losing the game, and then Josh Hines-Allen had a strip sack, and then the secondary picked it up and scored a touchdown with like a minute 30 left. I mean, there were multiple miraculous games just to get them to the playoffs. Then they're down 27-0 against the Chargers, and they come back and win. So you can kind of chalk up that 2022-2023 Jaguars season kind of as luck. They kind of catching lightning in the bottle. They were able to capitalize and do it. This Jaguars team put belt to ass for about 2.5 months on anybody who lined up in front of them, including the number one seed in the AFC, the Denver Broncos, went into their house and dominated them. We get Travis Hunter back. Our second-round draft pick was a corner that did not take a snap this season because he got hurt in the preseason. So those are two guys we're adding to the secondary, and we'll see. I feel like this Jaguars is just a lot more sustainable. I really do.
What did you guys think about the Liam Cohen press conference moment?
I think people need to quit hating.
I don't get the hate. I don't get the hate. I don't get the hate. And D. Orlando Ledbetter was just trashing this girl. Like, hey, thanks for coming on the podcast, but. Like, why are we trashing it? It's a good moment. Like, do you want her to just ask some generic question that's going to get just some non-answer, just like every single question always is in every single playoff losing press conference ever? Can I ask y'all one question? So, did y'all have any thoughts on some spots in this game that they were giving the Bills some awesome spots and the Jags some terrible spots? If not, I'll talk about it, but just wanted to know.
I thought some of the spot situation was a little bit bad in this game. I thought the refereeing overall was a little spotty for the majority of the weekend. Mm-hmm. The spots in this game, I will say it kind of went against both teams, but Liam Cohen did have the challenge like one or two.
Yeah. I mean, one more spot that we can talk about. God, we're spending a lot of time in this game. I'm sorry. But 4th and 2, Jags up 7-3. Instead of kicking the field goal, the Jaguars decided to go for it. And Trevor doesn't get it by, a quarter of a yard. Just right there. That's a huge moment in the game.
Mm-hmm.
A huge moment because the Bills get it, go down and score. Instead of us being up 11, we're down 3. That was so tough.
Yeah. The middle missed a kick later on, like before half too.
Yeah.
Gotta make those kicks. Okay. All right. The Panthers beat the Eagles 23-19. It seemed like to me watching this game that neither team really wanted to win. It was between Purdy throwing these interceptions. Kittle got carted off, obviously. He got hurt, had a bottle of tequila delivered to him. McCaffrey couldn't get really running. He did good in receiving game, but his running game was not really great. A.J. Brown was dropping everything that was thrown his way. He's fighting with Sirianni on the sidelines. Jalen Hurts is being Jalen Hurts. Saquon Barkley went down for a little bit. It just seemed like everything that could go wrong for both these teams was. But when Kyle Shanahan decided to draw up that trick play from Dwan Jennings to Christian McCaffrey, it seemed like the game came to life a little bit. And the Niners defense stood up all fourth quarter, only allowed that one field goal from the Eagles. And let me say this means absolutely nothing at this point, but I was thinking about it. I was trying to find my notebook from our preseason prediction show. And in the NFL, I probably didn't go as hard in my prep as I did in the college. But in my preseason, when we were given our predictions, I had the 49ers written down as my NFC champion. And the way I think it was Caleb was talking me out of it so hard and what he was saying and how this team's not going to be that good. And I think Jake was saying this 49ers team's not. I can't remember. But both of you guys, I don't think either of you guys were very high.
I was down on the 49ers. I thought that they lost a bunch of pieces on the defense.
I changed it. And I tried all day to find this notebook because I wanted to show you the cross out that I put. But I had picked the 49ers to go to the Super Bowl. And I fumbled on that one hard. And they ended up beating the team that I did pick to go to the Super Bowl. So that's on me. Got to stick with my gun sometimes, but the 49ers win this game in a game that I feel like we see these teams play off in the playoffs all the time, and the Eagles continue their stretch of Super Bowl first round blowout, Super Bowl for first round loss. It seemed like out of all the games, this wasn't one of the most boring, but it seemed like the teams had the least amount of juice. If that makes sense, compared to all the, maybe not the last game, but the first 4, this one seemed dull in ways, but that fourth quarter, the Niners made enough plays to win.
Yeah. So first off, I just want to say how happy I am to see the city of Philadelphia get what was coming to them. I mean, listen. I don't say this as hyperbole. I hate the city of Philadelphia. I mean, they have the worst fans on earth. They are winning the game 13-10, and you know what they're doing? They are booing the team that brought them a Super Bowl less than a year ago. They are booing them. I hate them, and I don't get. I'll tell you this: if I was your quarterback if I was Jalen Hurts and I'm walking off the field up 13-10 because y'all aren't satisfied with us beating the 49ers by 3 points in the fourth quarter, and I'm getting booed, dude, I'm self-sabotaging. I'm just like, whatever. I got my ring. I got paid. Screw yourself. Like, what do you want? Nick Sirianni, like, I don't understand how anybody even is a Eagles fan or this is a fan of the city of Philadelphia sports just in general. Nick Sirianni is a grade A douchebag. Jalen Hurts is just a walking Instagram caption. A.J. Brown is just a complete diva. I mean, complete diva. The biggest diva you've ever seen in your entire life. Your starting defensive tackle murdered a woman, and DGD, whatever, he did. And I'm just glad to see him lose. I'm glad to see him lose. I like this Niners team. I love Christian McCaffrey. I love Brock Purdy. There's just something about him that I just love. And
something about Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk.
Kittle's gone. What do you mean?
Yeah, but he was there.
Who was that did touchdown? Was it Juwan Jennings?
Juwan Jennings.
Juwan Jennings hitting Christian McCaffrey on that trick play was just so good. And one stat, I know the next thing we're going to talk about is the Patriots and Chargers. Juwan Jennings has tied Justin Herbert in career postseason touchdown passes. That was his second. Just something to note there. But yeah, I mean, this I will say this and I'll pass it off. I'm glad the Niners won just mostly because I hate Philadelphia. It's hard to see this team going any farther. It's really hard. I'd love for them to prove me wrong, but when your leading receivers, DeMarcus Robinson, who I remember watching at Peach County High School when I was in middle school, the fact that guy is your number one wide receiver, and like Juwan Jennings had one catch, you lost Kittle. I mean, honestly, Christian McCaffrey is probably your best wide receiver on this team right now. It's hard for me to imagine them being able to win next week.
Yeah, the guy that got the third most targets on the team was Kyle Juszczyk for them. I mean, that's the point they've got to. I'm with you. I think they get donkey swamped by Seattle next week. Spoiler, but I'm with you, Jake. Obviously, I think from the outside looking in, every Philadelphia hater or observer, if you know ball, every Philadelphia observer, you just want to be like the guy that's like, why the hell are you booing your team? You've won 2 Super Bowls in the last 10 years, right? And you got something to be mad about? Like, this team has been to the playoffs every year since 2017 and have won 2 Super Bowls in that span. Been to 3. I just don't understand the frustration as well. Now, I get it that Jalen Hurts played like garbage this year. Has anyone maybe pondered? I know I saw some kid after the game that was talking about that the offense coordinator, Patullo, whatever his name, needs to go flip burgers, which fair criticism, not a bad suggestion in that spot, because I think that I could do a lot better in calling 4 verts on the most important play of the year, which is the most basic pattern that you could possibly run, by the way. Throw it up and pray somebody's down there. But maybe he's the problem here with Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts has looked good before. I mean, he won a Super Bowl MVP 12 months ago, lest we forget. And where everybody's just all of a sudden putting it on the shoulders of this guy. I think Sirianni has some to blame, but I really think it falls on the shoulders of that offense coordinator, and just the gelling of the head coach managing the personalities on that offense right now is just not going well. I fully expect if Jalen's not going anywhere, Saquon, Devontae, or A.J. Brown will get dealt at some point this offseason. One of the 3.
It's got to be AJ.
AJ's gone.
We'll see.
One more thing about the Eagles that I hate: Big Dom. I hate Big Dom. Meet Big Dom. Like, why is he a thing? Why is he a thing?
Like, Nick Sirianni is a tough guy, dude. He's got to have a tougher guy pulling him back off the side.
Nick Sirianni is not a damn tough guy. That guy wishes he was a tough guy. We got a picture before the game, which first I'm just gonna say it again. I don't understand why Big Dom's a thing. Like, why do we know about him? I just don't get it. Before the game, he's the security guy, right? Like, he's the head of security. He's having like a photo shoot with a diamond encrusted Labubu.
This is 2026, dude. Welcome to the party, dog. That's what this whole thing's about.
Big
That's insane.
Dom.
It all started when he got thrown out of the game last year or 2 years ago, whenever it was, because he was trying to be the tough guy.
I forgot about old Boo Boos, man.
Big Dom hitting the 6-7 at the McDonald's.
Oh, man. Hey, I'm glad you brought up the Justin Herbert stat for you, purveyor of Justin Herbert nonsense.
We'll get to that game.
Was there another game? I thought we were done talking about the.
There's one tonight.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
I think we're done
next week.
I think we're done. Houston Steelers tonight. We won't talk about. Was there another game? The Patriots win 16-3. I don't even have any notes written down. This game fucking blew cock. I was fucking there and debating. I went at 8 last night. Was at the Mexican restaurant in the 49ers Eagles, going back, me and Chelsea, and she was saying, should we watch some more Traders, which I don't know if you guys saw, they showed it during the game. And I was like, yeah, I can probably just watch the game on my phone. And then she was like, well, I'll just, I've got to do something, like you can just turn the game on. And I totally wish we went the other route and I just watched that game on my phone, because that was so boring. Props to the defenses. Into defensive battle, whatever, dude. After watching all those other games and then watching that game fucking sucked. And congrats to the Patriots. They made Justin Herbert. And let me just say about Justin Herbert. I mean, that guy, he has like the worst offensive line in football. He can't even stand there without getting wrecked. I mean, the Patriots, props to him. They got to him all night, but it is rough for the Chargers and Justin Herbert, especially in these playoffs. Obviously, you guys brought up the stat earlier. He's never won a playoff game. But, I mean, the Patriots were all over him. But, I mean, the Patriots offensively didn't do anything spectacular. I will say this. Ramondre Stevenson, what a redemption arc he's having right now. I mean, that guy was going off last night. But, Caleb, what do we think about the game?
Yeah, I will say that Justin Herbert doesn't have it too bad, boys. Let's understand what he's doing now with his time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he's chilling. He's got all this cash. We know what else is at the house. Anywho. Very, very impressive game out of the New England Patriots. It was cool to see meaningful football in January go on again in the place. Like, it's been a while since you heard the Boston fans like really, really get up for like a third down and the foghorns start going. Pretty cool to watch. It felt very Vrabel-ish of a game too, like just kind of like rock fight. We're going to continue to hand the ball off, motion guys in, run power, and just see if we can't break a tackle or two and go one-on-one. He's just trying to like bully people pretty much. And what they were able to do to Justin Herbert up front and that offensive line was melee, assault, battery. You would get charged for that in a public setting. I mean, it got to a point that at the end of the game, they were just sending kitchen sink. It was cover 0, -1, cover -1 if you even want to, because they were leaving the back free and just blitzing 7 or 8 people every time. And Justin Herbert couldn't handle it. And he was getting waylaid at the end of the game. I mean, I thought he got knocked out of the game twice in the fourth quarter alone. I mean, it was incredible to watch. Drake May had a rough first half in my mind, completely settled down in the second half. Look, I think we got to give some flowers to the Chargers a little bit here too. I think their defense is incredible, especially once you consider how good the pass rush is and what they're able to do in the secondary. Derwin James, he's a force. He's all over the place. He's around the football every play. He finds his way there. But Drake May in the second half for the Chargers, 173 yards, a touchdown, 142 QB rating, plus 0.23 EPA per play. That is a major clip. Okay, because some people don't get that 0.23 EPA in a game when they play sometimes. So look, he was able to do that and correct the ship in the second half, and a lot of it was just checking it down to Ramondre Stevenson, honestly. I mean, and him being able to break a couple runs here and there too. But we missed a touchdown to Hunter Henry at some point in the game, and then settled for 3. And I was sitting here nervous because, like, man, we're one play away, and this thing could be like we're down 1 because we're always at that odd score. And finally broke through the Hunter Henry touchdown, and then kind of, like I said, the defense turned on the kitchen sink. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter today, the people were talking about the Chargers. Like, they admitted the Patriots, they didn't know what the hell they were doing in the secondary, didn't know a single defense they were playing, and that made rounds. And then Dan Orlovsky tweeted it today, which, I mean, people have their opinions about Orlovsky. He does watch film and knows somewhat of ball. He watched tape, said he didn't recognize a single coverage like that he could pin down. That's what it was against New England. He thinks the scheme is malleable based on the route tree. They're just basically doing what they want to every play and getting it right, which is incredible. Defense allowed 0 touchdowns, had a half dozen sacks, allowed under 100 rushing yards, and allowed under 150 passing yards, and I think got pressures on 99% of the times that Justin Herbert dropped back. The only other team to do that in the Super Bowl era in a playoff game was the 1985 Bears against the Giants. We know about that defense. So everybody wants to talk about Drake made this, Drake made that. You better remember what's on that other side of the ball that Vrabel is doing the coaching on, because they're going to be a force. And I can't wait for either one of these teams that come out of this game tonight to run up against that defense. I think it's going to go the exact same. And whether we see the Steelers or the Texans, I think we played better this year. So huge to see that outcome.
So before I start my breakdown, I want to ask a quick question. How many teams are there in the NFL?
32.
32. Okay. Trey Pipkins III, the starting right tackle for the Los Angeles Chargers, is ranked 39th out of 32 starting right tackles. He's ranked 39th. The starting
39th out of 32?
39.
It's because you have a certain amount of snaps that you reach and you're becoming
there are 40 qualified right tackles in Pro Football Focus. He's ranked 39th. There's 32 teams. Just remember that. Kai Becton, huge free agent signing for the Los Angeles Chargers. Again, there's 32 teams, so 32 starting right guards in the NFL, just to confirm. He's ranked 36th out of 37 qualifying guards in the NFL. Bradley Bozeman, Alabama guy, I believe, starting center for the Los Angeles Chargers. He's ranked 41st out of 41. I mean, dead last, 41. There's 32 starting centers in the NFL. He's ranked 41st. Just something to chew on. Listen, I'm a Justin Herbert believer. I'm a Justin Herbert truther. It is kind of hard to really to give him a lot of credit. It is. It's hard for me to do it because, like Caleb, you said he got pressured on 99% of his snaps. Yeah, he dropped back 31 times, 31 pass attempts this game. He was pressured on 30 attempts.
That is insane, man.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And did he miss some throws yesterday? He absolutely did. But how was he expected to not? When he is getting decapitated every single time he drops back, how is he supposed to trust his blind side? How? I mean, if Joe Alt was there, just Joe Alt's injury,
Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater.
And Rashawn Slater. Their only two good offensive linemen are out for the season. Guy Becton was a huge signing, and he's, again, ranked 36 out of 37. So, yeah, it's tough. Marion Hampton not being healthy also does hurt. But, yeah, I agree with what Caleb said. I was watching this game man, it's clear that the Patriots are the better team, but it's 3-9. It just takes one play, one connection to Quentin Johnson to go downfield, one connection with Ladd McConkey to break free and go, and we got a tie ball game.
I was scared of Quentin.
Yeah, I mean, they would have been up, not even a tie ball game, would have been up 10-9. So we were talking about the last 2 games ago, talking about the Eagles and their offensive coordinator and how bad that is. Greg Rollman is a domestic terrorist also. I just want that to be known. He's a second year he's been the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. 2 full games in the playoffs, 1 touchdown. And that touchdown was to Ladd McConkey on just a bust. I mean, it was like a 20-yard completion, breaks tackle, bang, gone for 70. Greg Roman's terrible. He was terrible in Pittsburgh. He's terrible in Los Angeles. I mean, they gotta do something. But I saw that today it was Stephen A. or Skip A. or somebody, one of the talking heads, was talking about that Jim Harbaugh is never going to win anything in Los Angeles with Justin Herbert as quarterback. Dude, there are 10 things that the Chargers need to worry about before they even start to think about Justin Herbert. I mean, I know people call him the what-if man, but just put him with a good receiving core and a good offensive line, and I'm telling you, this guy is elite. He is elite, but he has no chance.
No, I'm with you. I think that it's really hard for anybody in the organization. Football organizations, if you want to talk about what's the ground roots, what are the roots of the place live in, honestly and truly, it's the offensive line and the security of that. If you can't push people around in football, not going to be a good team. And that they've honestly been bit by the injury bug the last 2 years, and it's really, really shown up. I mean, Arondé Gadsden and Keenan Allen ended up having to be their main target getters at the end of the season. So
not a situation you want to be in. All right. Well, obviously Texans Steelers going to be happening tonight. So we're not going to be able to talk about that. We'll try to wrap that up on our next episode when we're going to preview all of the divisional round matchups. And yeah, so let's get into players of the week. Trinidad Chambliss wins it last week. So the standings are at 7, 6, and 6. I believe we said that this would be the last week was the divisionals.
One more. So this week, then one more next week.
Yes, Correct. So there's 2 more. And Jake won the last one. Caleb, you have 6, so you can go first.
Well, this is weird for me because I feel like there's like not any good ones. I don't know if you guys kind of checked out the slate, but I just wasn't truly impressed with anybody's stat line. But I'm gonna go ahead and take Malachi Tony just because of like the wow factor of what he was doing. I think people are gonna recognize, what he did in that game. Like even if you just post a crazy catch that he made that didn't even count, like that was probably the coolest play of the entire weekend. And I'm going to take Malachi Tony for that very reason.
Okay, Jake.
Man, I thought there was a good option. I thought there was a good option. I'm going to go with Fernando Mendoza. 17 for 20, 5 touchdown passes on the way to an absolute rout in Atlanta. Yeah, give me Fernando Mendoza and think the game's tied up, boys. I think it's 6s all around.
The only reason why I didn't want to take him or like give him consideration, he threw for 170 yards.
Yeah, but he threw for 5 touchdowns.
How'd they get down there?
5 tutties.
I'm going to go with I kind of want to take Josh Allen, but I feel like that's not going to win me any votes with the Jacksonville crowd today. So I'm just going to go with Colston Loveland. 8 catches, 137 yards. Jake raved about him earlier. It's going to be tough to win when you get the last pick, but we'll see. Okay, let's finish up with our deep thoughts of the week. I will start off here. So, I've been at this podcast, really, right? I've always been a college football guy. Jake's more leans on the NFL side. I don't really know which way Caleb leans sometimes. I feel like he's 50-50. He's a good guy that sits back and takes both sides sometimes. But let me just say this. After this weekend, the NFL has got the NFL playoffs are without a doubt way better than the college football playoffs. But the thing about that is now it's a lot different. But college football, the regular season, and how every game means so much, that used to like really outweigh, in my opinion, like every single game, for 12, 13 weeks, like it was like, hold your breath. Like if you lose one game, you lose 2 games, like you're done. Like the season, the national championship run is over. Obviously we're in a lot different time, but I worry that the college football, if we start extending these things, like we're going to start getting into, obviously this is a big thing, right? Like if you get into these, I don't want to get to a regular season that feels like the NFL. Like I don't want to get to a college football season where a 8-4 team is making the playoff. And, it's, obviously I don't want to compare it to the Panthers going 8-9 making the playoffs, but you know what I'm trying to say here. The NFL has got the playoff things figured out, and it obviously showed this weekend. And the college football playoff has obviously took its lumps, and the separation is obviously a lot different. But college football's regular season, still at this point, I think is a lot more entertaining because right now there's still a little bit of scarcity in terms of the teams that are going to make it. And so, like, yes, 2 losses can get you there, but 3 losses, you're probably, obviously Alabama, but it was another postseason. I just hope that the college football regular season still holds steady at the end of it. And I don't want to go down 5 years down the road and be like, man, this college football regular season is just like the NFL. Because I feel like it's these playoffs and everything, fighting for the playoff every year is causing it to go that way. So I just want to give props to the NFL for having a great playoff, and I really hope college football hangs on to their regular season crown, because I do feel like the regular season in college football has always been better than the NFL because, again, the 8-9 Panthers are in the playoffs, and that's what made college football so great, was every week was so much better. So just wanted to say that.
I think you can go ahead and make the argument that college football regular season doesn't mean as much as it used to. I was actually having this discussion the other day with somebody he's a college football is better than NFL truther. And I'm like, I will agree that regular season is better in college football, but not really as much anymore, because it used to be like the Alabama LSU matchup in October. Like, hey, loser's done. Like, you lose this game, you are done. It was the quest for perfection in college football is what it was. And now, like you said, last year, Alabama had 3 losses. Dude, we got a team playing for the national championship on Monday that lost to Louisville and SMU. Like, we have the possibility that our national champion lost to Southern Methodist in Louisville. Like, I don't know. I will always agree that college football regular season is better, but it's better because it matters more. Like, if you lose in October in the NFL, sucks. Hey, let's get back to the film room, get ready for next week, and we'll be fine. We will be fine. And that used to never be the thing for college, but it is kind of starting to creep up on it. So good deep thought, because I couldn't agree more. Because once you get to the point, like if they do extend to 16, or do this, you're going to see 3 lost teams in the playoff every single year, and it's really going to take away from it. Because I do think like it's good for Indiana. Like Indiana, I feel like deserves it. But I feel like the national championship this year should have been Georgia and Indiana. Should just go, and obviously, like, yes, Georgia lost to Ole Miss and all that, but that's in my opinion, and maybe people disagree with me. This is my personal opinion. Like, I just feel like that's how college football should be. Like I didn't mind the 14 playoff, but like the 12 team just sucks, in my opinion. Like I just really don't. I'm not enjoying it. And if it goes to 16, I feel like I'm going to enjoy that even less. College football is trying to be NFL playoffs while also maintaining the college football regular season. And it just doesn't, like, you can't do both. You can't do both.
Yeah, I agree. It's
You
hard.
gotta be careful
most
with
of these
your
playoff games are blowouts.
Yeah. You got to be careful with your reward cycle a little bit there. They're like, you haven't had the success in the 12 team, but the 4 was really good to you and your squad. So, I mean, you're going to have a little favoritism there. I think that you're getting a lot more parity out of the winner at this point, but, I'm with you. I think if Miami does win the Natty, to me, the Natty gets watered down a little bit in my mind, just because of the same reasons you guys said. And I saw a post interested today that there's this thing called the Collie Matrix, which is something that has been used by the NCAA before to, like, when teams claim national championships, they use this, and that can be one of their reasonings for doing it. Indiana, even if they lose to Miami in the Natty, would have a higher rating than Miami for the season and would technically still be the national champion on the Collie Matrix, which is pretty incredible. But that just goes to show you how, like, the regular season has been devalued now versus then. And yeah, if it gets worse, it's going to be a problem. I don't know if you guys saw today, but there's like a rumor saying that the Big Ten was willing to do 16 next year as long as they agree to do 24 in 2 years. Like who the hell wants either of those?
Yeah,
The
It's
college
going to
football
get downhill quick.
it's scared. College football is like they're killing themselves. College football is killing themselves in real time.
Well, you changed too much.
Playoffs, and they're all doing it completely unchecked. Like today, like in our group text, Caleb's talking about like the salary cap. The salary cap is in your words a soft salary cap. You know what a soft salary cap means? There's no salary cap. That's what a soft salary cap means. Hey, just pay everybody whatever they want to make. You'll have Mark Cuban was talking the other day. He's one of the richest people on earth. He's talking about he's going to start pouring money in Indiana football. Like that's not college football. It's not college football, and it's ruining it. It's ruining it.
Yeah.
No. All right. When do you guys go next?
All right. So for my deep thought today, I'm going to ask y'all a quick question. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Who would you say over the last, let's say 5 years, is the most injured team in the NFL?
The 49ers.
49ers, easily, right? Easily. Okay, let's rewind the clock back. I'll say 10 years ago, do you feel like the Niners were getting banged up every single week, tearing ACLs, tearing Achilles, all this? I would say no. I feel like those teams were pretty held up. It's Colin Kaepernick.
They were in the Super Bowl about 10 years ago.
They were in the Super Bowl. They were doing all this. Well, so there's a growing conspiracy theory coming out of Santa Clara right now. If you don't know this, there's an electrical substation right next to the practice facility at Levi's Stadium. And Peter Cowan, who was an energy guy, he tweeted that low-frequency electromagnetic fields can degrade collagen, weaken tendons, and cause soft tissue damages at levels that a regulator will call safe. And it is right next door. We've seen Christian McCaffrey been hurt. We've seen Brock Purdy been hurt. We've seen multiple offensive linemen be hurt. We've seen Fred Warner has been hurt. Nick Bosa being hurt. And then yesterday seen another Achilles pop for George Kittle. It's hard to say this doesn't have some merit, because if you look at it on a map, it's not across the block. It is right next to the practice facility. I mean, right next to the practice field is the electromagnetic fields or whatever coming from this energy plant. So I think it has some merit, because when they were playing at Candlestick Park, which they never should have left, just never should have left Candlestick, they didn't have these problems. They did not have these problems. But now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here they are.
Just another reason never to live in San Francisco, huh?
Another reason.
Just a rabbit hole about that. I don't know if you guys know what San Francisco looks like nowadays. Don't be going out there, folks. Don't be going out there. I don't think Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle and Kyle Juszczyk are living in San Francisco in the offseason. I don't
They're
think
not
so.
smoking crack on the sidewalk. That was when I went to San Francisco, and I will say there are parts of San Francisco that are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. But then you're driving through the city, and you look, and there's a homeless man smoking a crack pipe. I was like, wait, what? What is happening? What is happening here? It's the first time I ever saw cocaine was when I was like 14 years old, and I was in the car, and I looked over, and there was a guy in his car, a moving vehicle, passing a plate over to the passenger seat with some particular white substance on it.
Little
You call the
Jacoby.
cops,
Little
dude? What did you do?
I was 13. I was in a car. We were in traffic, and I just looked there. I was like, what? What is that?
Are they hungry in there?
I guess.
All right, Kayla, what you got?
So I'm going a little bit off the normal earth for us. We're going into the ethos of golf. It's golf season around here. So Brooks Koepka did a thing today that was pretty interesting. If you haven't paid attention, let's just go over the brief history of this. Okay, so the Live Golf League was invented, right? They got Bryson, Phil, Brooksy, Cam Smith, John Rahm eventually to go over there and join the crew, and they got paid a slew of money to do it, and it was just kind of like their own little world circuit. They fought to get like official world golf ranking points and everything so they can continue to play the majors. Now they're having to the guys in Live have to play like qualifying events just to get in. So anywho, we're now to the point that some of these guys are contemplating coming back just because, in all honesty and truth, the competition is a little bit better and it makes you better at golf, right? It'd be just like if a football team was to play a game every 3 weeks instead of every week. Like at some point, and Kirby would tell you, he'd rather play every week because he likes staying in the flow. You stay fresh in the flow of the game, hurt or not be damned. Like you still have like a routine that is building to the game. Well, same thing with the Live guys. Brooksy's tired of being bad at the majors, I think, and he's coming back to the Live Tour, or getting off the Live Tour, coming back to PGA Tour. But what he had to do to get back on the tour was a massive, massive request. According to Dan Rappaport, Brooksy is coming back. He's going to play the Farmers and Waste Management this month on the PGA Tour. $5 million charitable donation. He's ineligible for the player equity program for 5 years, which they just revamped. And basically what that is like whatever your popularity plus like how you score and how much impressions you do on socials and all that stuff, they pay you a ton of money. Like Tiger Woods has made almost $100 million off this in the last 10 years. So you're saying maybe $50 million he's missing out on, can't get that, can't get like the championship bonus pay. And it only applies to people. This is the whole catch to this that's important. It only applies to people who have won a major or a players championship since 2022. There's 4 people. On Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau is the big chip, and Cam Smith. Only lost Cam Smith. I kind of want to focus on Bryson DeChambeau. He just became probably the most leverageable athlete on the face of the earth with Brooks Koepka doing this, because now you're waiting for Rahm to go ahead and say, all right, I'm back. Or Rahm can be a family man for another couple of years, but like the Live Tour could die in the next couple of years. It's completely on the table. Completely on the table. But he could walk in there right now and say, I'm just as valuable as what you originally paid me, plus what Brooks and Rahm make to this tour, which is true. And he could say, give me $750 million to play golf for 4 years. Like, that's more than Ronaldo money, like big money. He could do it. And that league is at the mercy of him doing that right now. And I think that if it plays out how I feel some of these guys are going to play it, ramping up for another major cycle, but clearly the people that are winning the majors outside of Bryson are tour guys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, when's the last time that Brooks even was in contention on a Sunday at a major?
I think that he was in contention on a Saturday, like maybe last year or 2 years ago, but even then it kind of fell apart at the end. Like it wasn't the final round that he wanted to be. Like, you got to get the reps. You got to get in the gym. You got to put up shots, dog, in order to make them in the game. And so he's coming back to the tour. But again, if Bryson DeChambeau, him and Rahm all come back, I don't think Cam Smith will come back. I think that's toast. First of all, he's not good enough right now to like be able to just dip his toe back in the water when you're having to pay all this money up front to get back in. Like, it's a little much for him. And also, too, he lives in Australia. He already talked about how much he likes his family and stuff, whatever. Rahm's also like from Spain or Portugal, wherever I think it's Spain. So, and he's got his family over there. He could stay home and collect a bunch of money still. But Bryson DeChambeau's got a reason to come on home, boys. and he's also the world's most popular golfer.
Whatever happened to Live and PGA like merging?
I think it's dead. I'll say this: if it wasn't dead already, it's dead now because now the PGA has their leverage is back. Their leverage is back. And I will say this: it's a lot that that Brooks had to sacrifice, but there's really not another option. I mean, what are they going to say? Like, hey, I know you took $200 million 3 years ago to go to Live, but yeah, we'll welcome you right back. The PGA guys who stayed loyal are going to be pissed off, because what do you think that Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler were offered? I mean, I guarantee you the Brinks truck was backed up for.
They said it was $1 billion
of
for
dollars.
Tiger Woods at the time, $1 billion.
And he said no. He said no. So if they just let Brooks back on tour, no repercussions, then it'd be a problem. But I mean, dude, these guys got more money than they'll ever know how to spend off these live contracts. So I hope more come back. I've really, really, really missed seeing some of these guys play on a weekly basis when golf season's in full fledged, especially like here in Jacksonville going to the Players Championship, not having Brooks there, not having Bryson there, not having John Rahm there, not having Cam Smith. And Cam Smith was the first guy I ever saw with the Players. And then he was gone like a year later. Not even that. Like I think it was like 2-3 weeks after that he signed with Liv. So I love it. I think this is the first domino to fall. I think it is because I think if I'm John Rahm, if I'm Bryson DeChambeau, if I'm Harold Varner, like what does he have to gain by being on the Live Golf Tour? Because the only people, not many people watch Live regardless, but if those 4 names that you mentioned are gone, who's watching it?
Nobody.
And one of the bigger names in golf right now, like one of the newer names is Joaquin Niemann. It's been a really big name. Like he's been winning a lot of live events. People every single major cycle are like, hey, look out for Joaquin. Like he can do it. And he never does it. Like he's never good, but he's a good golfer, right? But like I imagine like if he's playing in the Arnold Palmer, the week before the Players, and he's playing in the Players, and then he's ramping up to get ready for the Masters and all this. Like he's playing real golf against real competition on harder courses, then maybe he'll be in better shape because that's what it boils down to. I mean, those guys just don't do well in majors. They don't.
There's a psychological component to it too. Like these guys on Live, you've already gotten the check, dog. Patrick Reed was telling the guys at the PGA Tour. I remember seeing this in interviews. Like he saw the zeros in his bank account. And he showed somebody. Like they couldn't even believe it. What was going on there? Just there's more to be earned on the PGA Tour. You got to go out there and do it every week. I mean, even Brooks Koepka in this deal, another part of it, he's not even guaranteed an invite to signature events. Like he's not going to the Players this year unless he just hoops coming out the gate. He's got to, or the Arnold Palmer, or any of those, like the other 5th and 6th and 7th majors of the PGA Tour seasons. When you have to do that every week and show up in order to keep your card, I think that it prepares you better for the big moments because it's hard to go from just casually strolling into Hong Kong and then going to London 3 weeks later and then just going to Miami 4 weeks later after the holidays and just showing up and doing it. You may play well there, but show up when there's some people that are like, they're trying to feed their 3rd child.
Yeah. So it's golf. When is it? Is the season back? What's going on?
This week is the first PGA Tour event, Sony Open.
Okay, fun. I'm ready.
And
to
the
go
PGA and Live Tour actually, I don't know if you guys caught this, but over the weekend they had a qualifier for like their promotional tour or whatever. What was the name of the guy? Anthony Kim? Is that the guy that was big?
Tom Kim?
No. Anthony Kim was big back in the day. He was like a really good golfer. He got hurt. He was big when Tiger.
When he went to jail. He went to jail.
Yeah. He got in trouble. Well, he requalified for the Live Tour.
How about that?
But nobody saw that.
Golf. I'm excited for golf.
I
We need to get. Might be doing some more matches this summer, huh?
We got to definitely show up to Jack's at some point this year. We're due.
Y'all should, I know this is not podcast related. Y'all should come down for the Players. Great time. Real quick before we head out, I just saw something on Twitter and I think it's good for us to talk about real quick. So Ty Simpson declared for the draft, right? Miami has offered him $6.5 million to come back next year. Tennessee offered him $4 million, and Ole Miss has offered him $4 million.
Well, Ole Miss.
Ty Simpson could not handle Miami.
Well, he could handle $6.5 million. I mean, that's.
He could. No state income tax.
He'll be a 1st-round pick, though. Like, I swear he's going to Pro Day well, and that's going to be the same amount of money he'll get on a signing bonus. He needs to go to the NFL. They try to do the same thing to Quinn.
I think just based off the like the vibe I get from watching Ty Simpson or like just his demeanor, he doesn't seem like a guy that's chasing the money, so to speak. It seems like he's got a little bit more in the heart of wanting to do want to follow the journey. If I
Well, lest we forget, Bama's
It's crazy. He, I mean, only
$69 million.
one season though in college, and he's gone. I mean, I might help to come back, but who knows? Who knows? It's interesting. All right, well, we got to get out of here. This was a long one. Thank you everybody for listening. We'll be back in a couple days. We're going to preview the NFL divisional round, and then we'll still get another episode in before the national championship because of how long it takes to play a national championship from now until then. But again, follow on the socials, subscribe to the YouTube. We'll see you guys in a couple days. For Jake, for Caleb, and Gary, deep shout out.